Hello guys, welcome to my channel. My name is Tara Tarot. I will be doing your August 15th to September 15th reading. This reading will be for Libra, Sun, Moon, and Rising. As I have before, I shuffled the cards and I will show you, of course, each one as I pull them. My tripod wasn't working, the large one, so you couldn't get an overview of everything, so now I'm just recording myself today. So, I hope you guys don't mind. Now, I'll jump right into the reading. So, first house, funny, very similar as your counterpart Virgo, you have the World. So I feel that you guys are really starting to feel very abundant. I feel like you feel very along your own spiritual path, as if things are very faded, and a lot of things are going on right now, but it's things that you've been working towards. So you're starting to gain all of your, everything you're starting to actually receive now. So it might have been like law of attraction, you were like, I really want this, I want this, but you're putting in the work towards it, and now everything's starting to come out, and it's all starting to come out at once. And it's things that you feel that were divinely meant for you. It might have been things that you've been dreaming about for a while, things that you've really been like keeping very close to your heart, that you feel is very beneficial for your life. I feel that with this card being in your first house and being you, is people really see you as very abundant right now, and people might be coming to you for advice, especially in regards to spirituality and how to better their own life. So you might have a lot of broken birds coming towards you right now. So I know you guys really like to be liked, but I say that with this warning, make sure to protect your energy as well, because people want your help because they see you're doing so well, but a lot of times people don't really know how to help themselves. So I don't want you to get lost in it just because you want to be liked. So, second house, house of finances, house of material wealth. I have the Five of Swords in reverse. So Five of Swords in reverse is usually a resolution to a problem. So what I feel is that you might have been having issues with your finances. Perhaps it was because you were living with someone and you were having arguments with them. This could be romantic or otherwise, but I feel like things are starting to resolve. Perhaps you were living with someone who lost their job or was financially struggling, or perhaps you were for some time. Things are going to start to be picking up after a little bit of that break, and all of the problems are starting to be resolved in that aspect. So if you were struggling financially, perhaps you were overspending, as often happens in summer and often happens with Libras because you do like to spend a lot. Those things are starting to be resolved, and everything's starting to go back to the way that it needs to be. So I do see positive things in that regard. I hope that is something that you've been looking forward to, and I really want to be giving you the positive messages. Now, the third house is the house of communication. I have the Knight of Coins. So I do feel like there is someone that you've been communicating with, or you've been trying to have civil conversation with, and I feel like this person is very slow when it comes to telling you their feelings. Though you know it's there, and though you know there's a stability with this this relationship, I do feel like this person has been very slow to tell you their feelings. So I think that there's a communication that's starting to open up with either a Taurus, Capricorn, or Virgo, or it could be someone with a lot of earth in their chart. And I feel like it's very slow to actually happen, and you might have been waiting for this communication to happen, but you're starting to get a little bit more from them each time. So I feel like there's a very positive aspect with this being in communication, is you're starting to think about things before you say them. And I think a lot of times, air signs and fire signs are very quick-witted when it comes to having conversations, quick with jumping at something before they really think about it. And you're dealing with someone who's a lot more reserved, and it might be slowing up the way you deal with people and the way that you are communicating with them, and this could be beneficial to you. So I do see that there is a positive aspect surrounding communication, and perhaps learning to communicate the correct way. Now, the fourth house is the house of home. It is also the house of mother. So with this, I see the Eight of Cups. I do feel Like, I feel like you kind of want... There's someone that you keep very close to your heart. There's someone that you might have brought around your home, around your family, that you've been building a relationship around for a very long time. And I think you're starting to feel guilty because you kind of want to move on from this person or from the things that they've done. But you're sitting a lot in your emotions, and therefore in your home you're kind of withdrawing and you're not allowing a lot of people in. Now for Libras, this is weird because you guys are very social people. You're like social butterflies. A lot of times you're very energized by being around other people. However, I feel like you're thinking about moving on so much and you might be getting yourself upset, and that might be keeping you within the house. So I do warn you that perhaps maybe it is that you're trying to move away from a person and that's really keeping you up at night. But I think that you're starting to recognize that you need to kind of pull yourself back and be alone so that you're able to have that understanding best. But I do feel like, even though I said it was the house like for mother, it could be that somebody in communication wise is like reminding you of your mother, and that could be one of the reasons is why you want to pull away. Maybe, you know, your mother figure didn't really communicate with you, and neither is your partner, and this is someone that you wanted to include within your home, and now it just feels like you want to be away from it. So there is a possibility that that you really are just trying to withdraw fully, and if you're living with this person you might be wanting to move away from them. And that might be a problem because, you know, you might have all of your assets with this person. So it might be something that you're needing to change in that regard. Now, 5th house, house of romance, I see the 2 of Pentacles. I feel like either you're dealing with someone who's a lot to deal with emotionally, or you're juggling 2 relationships or 2 people. There could be 2 people you're interested in. It doesn't necessarily mean that you're in 2 relationships, that you're both... like you're dating both of these people exclusively, because obviously that wouldn't be, and like behind each other's backs, but you may be single and seeing 2 people at this time. I also feel like it could just feel like you have a lot of responsibility for another person, and it could be something that you're feeling is a lot to bear and a lot to burden, but it isn't something that you're unable to do. So, and I do feel like this is someone that you're connected with. Like, I feel like, honestly, both of these people having, like, the infinity sign and the red ribbon around it, which I always say is related to fate, I do believe they are both soulmates of some kinds. Like, they will both teach you different lessons, and that could be why, if it is 2 people that you're struggling between them, this could also mean that you're struggling between, you know, 2 different things, responsibilities. So, like, perhaps, like, a new job and a relationship. I felt my first initial feeling was you're seeing 2 people. So I'm just going to keep that out there. But I do believe that you're trying to move on from one of them. Especially since I see that next to the 8 of Cups. Like, it's following after the 4th house. I feel like maybe you were living with someone and you want to move on from them to be with somebody else that you're also connected to. And you could be moving away from someone who's just been very slow to give you what you wanted. Because I see that Knight of Coins before, but you might be communicating how you actually feel at this time, which is beneficial. The 6th house is the Fool. The 6th house is all about service to others and yourself, to health. You may be getting some new beginning. You may be starting new projects. Your own, like, mental health may require you to create some changes in your life. It might require you to take a leap of faith in some kind of a new venture or an opportunity. If there's something that you've been wanting to do for a long time but you're scared, you're divinely guided to do so. And I think that it's something that really will help you, because a lot of times you kind of overthink and you could keep yourself back. But I do believe that you are cardinal energy and you need to take that leap of faith to get what you want, to be in this place of the world that we want. Because we want this to be all month long. We want to be in our abundance. We want to be creating new things and new opportunities. And to do so, we need to take a leap of faith. And also, this being in your 6th house, this could mean that someone else is entering your life, someone new. It could be someone new that you're meant to teach each other lessons. That doesn't mean that it's necessarily romantic, but someone new may be entering your life that will create, that like you can be of service to and they can be of service to you. And therefore you guys are teaching each other things and it's a mutual understanding or mutual partnership. But I feel like your instincts will kick in, because with the dog here, it's following like your gut. So I think your instincts will kick in and you will know exactly who this person is and who to like take this leap of faith towards, or what opportunity they're giving to you that you have to take a leap of faith towards. But you'll know when it comes, like who it is. And I also see that that's probably going to happen later on in the month, or at the end of August. I do feel like it will happen around the new moon. So that's, I believe, August 30th. And that new moon, like it occurring around the new moon, will be new opportunities. That's when new things are allowed to come in. As we're at the 15th, we're at the full moon. So we're trying to, everything's coming to a head, kind of, everything that you've needed to deal with. But you'll be in a lot calmer waters and new opportunities will come around the new moon. Now the 7th house is the house of partnerships, relationships. I see 6 of Wands. So it could be that the partner that you're actually interested in is also flourishing, and that at this time they're starting to be very victorious in their own life, and this could be why you're really attracted to them right now. I think they're gaining a lot of recognition and other people are starting to see it as well, and therefore in your own eyes you are creating, like you are seeing them as having more worth. That might be a mean way to put it, but I do feel like that's true. I think that's going to actually kind of help you too with making a decision. If you are in a decision between two people, I think that you're going to start to see one person is doing the right thing for themselves and really starting to flourish, and therefore that is the person that you're meant to be working with, rather than the person that, not that I'm saying no one has problems, everyone has their own set of baggage and problems, but the person that's not really working at it as actively and therefore is not having anything positive happen in their life. But the 8th house is the 2 of Swords. The 8th house is something, the card of transformation. So I feel like what's happening here, having the 2 of Swords here, is you know you need to make a decision. You know who it is with. You know that there's a person in your life. I think, alright, I have to put it like this. Libras, I look at as being very about romance, very about partnerships. They really need to have like their other half. That could even mean as their best friend. They always just have another person to help them feel balanced. So partnerships are very important to them. If you're dealing with someone in your life very closely that is not doing the right thing, they will bring you down. And I think you know that. So this being in the 8th house is, I think you don't like to disappoint people, and I think you don't like to hurt people's feelings. But I do think that you really know what the right decision to make is in your life. And I think that your heart and your brain are saying the same thing, but you're trying to lie to yourself and say that's not true. I think that what will create your best transformation is diving within and listening to what your emotions are truly telling you and what your heart is really, really trying to speak to you at this time, and know that you might need to cut somebody off that you don't want to, but it's for both of your benefits. And I think that the other person that you may be seeing worth in is really starting to do well and can help you along your path, and you can see that. And that's when you're going to know that, like, though it might be a painful decision, it's a decision you know the answer to. The 9th house. House of philosophy, spiritual learning, higher ideals. 3 of Swords. I think at the heart of this, as I was saying before, is you know what decision you need to make. I think you need to break up with someone. And if you're not exclusive with them, but you're still talking to them every day and they have this idea in their head, I think you're going to need to hurt somebody else's feelings, and that might hurt your feelings too. I think there's not only betrayal, but there's a lot of pain associated with this card, but sometimes we need those things to happen for us to truly understand life and understand what it is that we're meant to learn. And I think through heartbreaks is what usually propels us forward into like a spiritual enlightenment. So this might be a necessary thing that is occurring for you guys, and I think that though this is a very difficult aspect, especially if it's in regards to hurting someone else's feelings that you care about, I think it's the only thing that will create endless possibilities, and for you to feel awake and alive and like you're able to do what you need to do. Yeah. 10th house. House of work, career. We have the Knight of Cups. It may be that somebody that you work with is interested in you, or you may be interested in them. I feel like this person may be pursuing you. They're asking you out on dates. They're very interested in what you've got going on. This person could be a water sign, but they don't need to be. I feel like this person is very emotional, and you can feel a lot of things from this person. And I feel like they're kind of doting on you right now. This might be outside of these people. So you might just have other people that are interested in you, and this creates even more of a chaos. And that also happens when you're starting to do your best, because people are just drawn to you. But I do believe that you will receive some kind of an offer from somebody, either that you work with or while you are working, and it is on some kind of a date. If you do decide to go, I believe that you will feel abundant, and you will feel like they're able to give you something that you need. But if this is somebody else that you're, like somebody outside of these two people that you're between, then I do feel like it's best to decline the offer. 11th house, House of Friendships, we have the 9 of Pentacles. It seems like everything is truly where it needs to be. Everything is starting to go well for everyone. In your life, a lot of your friends are starting to actually get what they need to get accomplished. So if they've had ideas or business pursuits that they've been working towards, a lot of people are starting to receive that back right now. And I think the people that are meant for you in your life are all going to be doing very well and going to have that going on. I'm not saying cut off people just because they're going through a hard time, but I do believe that anyone that's showing toxic emotions right now you do need to have boundaries up against them, because the people in your life that are really going to help you right now are doing very well themselves. Yeah. I really love the art of this card. I'm so sorry. I just got distracted by it, but I just feel like everyone is really doing so well. And I feel like you might be getting a lot of opportunities by friends. Like, they start to see your worth in work, and they might be giving you a lot of opportunities. That could be why you're starting to flourish and your problems are resolving in your finances, is people are starting to give you more jobs or things to do. 12th house is the 4 of Swords. I think that at the heart of the reading, or what is unknown, is that you might actually need to take a rest and recognize that your work is still coming in for you. And though you need to make a decision, that doesn't mean that you need to... It doesn't mean you need to make a decision and then, jump into a relationship or anything like that. It means you can make a decision to cut somebody out and still take some time to focus on yourself. I think that you're being asked to truly think about what matters and kind of shut your brain down a little bit. Stop overthinking and let whatever is coming in come in as it's meant to naturally. I also feel that with that being in the 12th house, you might feel a little bit cut off to receiving signs, whereas before it might have been something that was occurring all of the time. I do believe that that's... sorry, every time that happens. I do believe this, like, shutting you off is meant so that you're able to better adjust to your own intuition and say, okay, this is meant for me because I feel this feeling, rather than like, hey, give me a sign, and then like you see a sign that says yes. You know what I mean? I say that because I do that a lot. I'll be like, hey, if this is meant to happen, then I will see 1111 3 times today, randomly, and then I will. But you're going to ask for that, and you're not going to get it. And you're going to think that it's wrong, but it's because you're being tested. And it being in your 12th house of spirituality is like, you need to rely on your own intuition and stop relying on other people or other sources to give you that clarity. And at the bottom of the deck, you have the Queen of Wands, so you're feeling very confident, and you're receiving a lot of recognition for what you're doing. Creatively, I think you're doing a lot of things. I feel like Libras are extremely creative people, and you're ruled by Venus, so I feel like you're starting to make yourself and your life look very aesthetically pleasing. And in doing so, I think it'll give you a lot more confidence, and people are going to be very drawn to you. This major decision that you have to have in love, I think it's just because you need to move away from someone who's not trying to progress in their life, and there's somebody else that is. And I think you might feel some guilt with wanting to move away from that, but that doesn't necessarily mean that that guilt is warranted, because you are also allowed to be happy. So that is your reading at this time, guys. I will see you guys next month, and I hope you enjoyed it. Bye.